If you think wealth is flashy cars, big houses, or the number on your bank statement, you're already losing. Because real wealth is freedom. Real wealth is the power to live life on your terms. It's the power to say no to a boss and to say yes to your family, to say yes to your life. But most importantly, it's the power to say yes to yourself. But see, freedom has a price. The choices that you make, how you navigate the underlying currents of life, will determine whether you sail into the island of freedom or crash onto the rocks of servitude. Allow me then to paint a picture for how these choices will shape your lives. Imagine yourselves time traveling. For those of us who are a little bit experienced, let's age down. And for those of us who are young, let's age up. And take yourselves to a place where you've got this incredible partner, and you've got the goofiest 6-year-old son, and the most adventurous 8-year-old daughter. And after months of planning, the stars have finally aligned, and you've booked a dream vacation to Zanzibar. And the night before, everyone's gathered up in the room, and you're all packing, and you look at your daughter, she's brought her own pink little suitcase, and she's vibrating with excitement. And then the phone rings, and it's your boss. Something really urgent's come up. I'm going to need you in the office. See you at 8. And in that moment, the excitement drains from your face. You look at the packed bags, you look at your family's faces, and you already know this isn't a request. You don't have a choice. The trip, the memories, the time together, all gone before it even started. Do you feel that sting? Do you feel it? Hold on to it. Because that's not just a missed vacation. That is a moment stolen from your family because your choices left you with no leverage. Cut. Let's run the movie again. This time, you are in Zanzibar. And you and your partner are looking out over the beach. And you turn your neck back and you look in the room and your son's jumping up and down watching cartoons. And your daughter's fallen asleep and her hair has fallen all over her face. And you're enjoying the most delicious cup of coffee. And you look out at the beach and you breathe in the most amazing sip of salty sea air. Breathe it with me. This isn't a fantasy. This is freedom. It is freedom earned through the decisions you start making today. We stand at this crossroads. One path leads us to canceled dreams, to moments you cannot get back, and the other to a life where you call the shots, to a life which you live on your terms. So, which path are you choosing? Who wants to grind away forever in a shiny office with unlimited coffee, air conditioning, and a fancy corner desk? Or are you bold enough to take the path of choice? To take the path of choice. Are you courageous enough to choose freedom? Are you brave enough to build a life that's yours? But remember, there is no air conditioning on the beach. You are going to have to deal with the heat. Because see, freedom is not free. It is not enough to simply choose freedom, because freedom is not given, freedom is not gifted, freedom is not handed down. Freedom is built brick by brick with blood, sweat, and tears. The real question then is, are you ready to do what's necessary to build your house of freedom? And the first thing that we need to do when we're building our house, so we need the materials, we need the bricks. And what material is the best material for our strong house of freedom? Discipline. See, discipline means consistently choosing an action that aligns with our long-term goals, no matter what. Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest marathon runner of all time, the only human being to have run a marathon in under 2 hours, and the master of self-discipline says, only the disciplined ones in life are free. Because if you are undisciplined, you are a slave. You are a slave to your moods, and you are a slave to your passions. Because see, discipline is a really weird kind of freedom, because you are still a slave. But you are a slave to your standards. You are a slave to your goals. But most importantly, you are a slave to your future self. But if you think discipline is too constricting, if you think discipline is too hard, know that not having discipline means that you will be a slave, but this time you'll be a slave to the economy. You'll be a slave to your job. You will be a slave to a boss. You will be a slave to money. You will be a slave to all of the great things that you cannot control. So, we've got our materials. We've got our bricks. We can either whack someone over the head with them, or we can choose to build. I think that's the more productive way. Now we plan. How big do you need your freedom house to be? How big does your house have to be to satisfy your needs? And the calculation here is simple. Imagine, think and forecast. What do you want in your dream life? Where do you want to be in the future? And calculate how much does that life cost. And then it's simple. Build an investment portfolio which gives you the income to sustain that life. The shilling value of that portfolio, that right there, that is your freedom number. And I'll give a quick example. If your dream life is a middle-class lifestyle in Tanzania, and we'll assume that costs 2 million shillings a month, and we'll assume that's 24 million shillings a year. That gives us a 15% return, and we'll assume a 15% return on our portfolio. Your freedom number is 160 million shillings. And of course, if your dream life costs double that, your freedom number will double. And all you have to do from there is decide how long you want to give yourself. Do you want to work for 5 years, 10 years, or 20? But once you've decided all of that, and you've set your targets for how much money you want to put aside every single year, then there is no going back. Once you've done this, you commit every ounce of your being to achieving these numbers. Enough of the planning. Let's get to the building. The prep work is all well and good, but it's time we start building our house of freedom. And as with any building, we have to start with the foundation. And our foundation is our savings. It's not glamorous. In fact, it's super boring. And it will be ages before you see any returns. But you cannot build a house without a foundation. Saving means vetting every expense, reviewing every payment, and only incurring them if they align with your long-term goals. And that applies to everything, be it a Netflix subscription or your house rent. Because when you live below your means, you will rise above your worries. So start. Start with whatever you can, even a small amount, but save consistently. Because slowly but surely, your foundation will be completed. And the platform to your house of freedom is ready. And now that our platform is ready, with our foundation set, we need to work on setting up our great walls. And we do that with our investments. See, saving is amazing. Saving is awesome. You are a rock star if you save. But you can only save what you've earned. And you can only earn for so many hours in a day.
But your money can work 24/7 and it doesn't ask for days off. And the best part is, your money will make you more money. And that money will make you more money. And that feedback loop will go on and on and on. And that feeds the engine of wealth. This, my friends, is the power of compound interest. The single most powerful tool in building your house of freedom. I'll give a quick illustration to show how compound interest works. And we'll start with the example of Linda. Linda starts investing at the age of 40. From the age of 40, she starts investing every single month $500. She will have invested $186,000 by the time she reaches the age of 70. Assuming a 15% interest rate, how much do you think her portfolio will weigh by the time she reaches the age of 70? $3 million. Her investment was $186,000, and she's come out with $3 million. Her portfolio has grown 16 times over. But see, this gets even more powerful the earlier you start. So now let's take the example of Ethan. Ethan starts investing at the age of 25. His total contributions by the time he reaches the age of 70 are $276,000. His final portfolio value is $24.7 million. He grew his initial investment 90 times over because he started early. He was committed and he invested. See, compound interest has turned our very stable foundations, our very modest savings, into the great walls that we've always wanted to build. So, where do we invest? It's all well and good. Where do we take advantage? How do we take advantage of compound interest? There's a million options, but we'll go over a few. The first and the safest option is a loan to the government. Purchase a few government bonds. These are some of the safest investments, minimal risk. And currently, the Bank of Tanzania offers a 25-year bond at a 15% interest rate. But no, if you are a little bit more of a maverick, you can go for shares. And you can own a small part of a much larger company. And this means if that company performs well, you're entitled to a dividend. But it also means if that company performs well, your share value is going to rise. And slowly but surely, your portfolio value will grow so big, you will hardly be able to imagine it. Or you know what? You don't want to make these decisions. It's too difficult for you. Okay, take your money, deposit it into a mutual fund. These are portfolios managed by experts, and you can start with the lowest amounts, and they're extremely liquid, and you will let the professionals who do this on a day-to-day basis decide whether you need to buy government bonds, or you need to buy shares, or you need to sell shares, or what shares you need to get. But then what's the key? What's the key? The key is diversification. The key is to have a few shares. The key is to buy a few government bonds. And the key is to have a little bit of a portfolio with a mutual fund. Because see, your house of freedom should not rely on just one wall, on just one pillar. No. Your house of freedom should be built with multiple walls. So that even in the worst case, if one of the walls falls, your house still stands. And finally, discipline, savings, and investments are nothing if it is not combined with consistency. Because sometimes it will be very tempting. It will be very tempting to listen to your impulse, to work outside of your budget, and to YOLO your life. But consistency is key. Because consistency is the roof to your house of freedom. Your roof protects everything inside. Consistency seals your freedom. And once you've got your roof down, congratulations, because you have chosen for yourself the life that you deserve. So let's bring it all together. Let's go over our war plan for building our house of freedom. You start with discipline, because every choice that you make, every day, every second, every minute counts. And then you calculate your freedom number and see how much it will cost to fund your dream lifestyle. And then you go about the toughest part, the grind. You save consistently and you live below your means. And then you start investing. And you invest, and you invest, and you invest, and you harness the power of compound interest to grow your portfolio. And once you've done all of that, just stay consistent. Brick by brick, choice by choice, you are channeling yourself towards a life where you call the shots. This is your moment. This is your moment. This is your rebellion against a life dictated by others. Because freedom is not given. Freedom is forged in the fire of your choices. It is built brick by brick with relentless discipline. So cast off the chains of bosses. Cast off the chains of bosses, bills, and doubts. Rise up and seize your future and build your house of freedom. Your future depends on your decisions. Make the right ones.